In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 ways that you can kickstart your career in tech without needing to know how to code. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So as some of you probably know, I run the Unicorn Factory, which is a freelancer marketplace in Canada and in New Zealand, which means I have the inside scoop on what kind of services and skills are in high demand at the moment. So I thought I would share some of the top 5 areas that I think are worth having a look into if you are thinking about breaking into the tech world. Okay, so before I dive into my little list, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You'll learn a lot of skills that might be useful for your future tech career. Also, while you're down there, smash that like button. It helps the channel out a lot. A lot more people will discover this video and I'll be very, very happy. But with that being said, let's dive into the first one, which is Webflow. Okay, so in case you don't know, Webflow is a website building tool that you can use without needing to know how to code. Now, for me, Webflow is currently the biggest opportunities for anyone looking for a full-time job or wanting to break into freelancing. Especially over this last year, I have just noticed how many more businesses are actually switching over from whatever tool they're using to Webflow, and they are oftentimes looking for people to help them with that migration. But also, just website building in general has become a lot more important with the entire lockdown that we've had in New Zealand and all over the country, which means that businesses are basically having to switch online. And because businesses oftentimes need some form of control over their website, using something like Webflow is just a significantly better fit. Now, breaking into the Webflow world is actually significantly easier than you think, because you can actually just use templates as a starting point if you want to help businesses get a website up and running. One of the things that I found most intimidating about Webflow at the beginning is me actually just not being a good designer, or at least not thinking that I've got good design skills. And that's completely cool, because over time you'll start building confidence around your ability to design nicer websites. But if you just want to get started immediately, you should take full advantage of the Webflow templates that are available. Oftentimes you can just charge it on to the customer and then charge them for making changes to the site. Now, the easiest way to learn about Webflow is just to check out the Webflow University. Now, there are a whole bunch of different resources out there that you can use, but if you just want to get into it immediately and basically get some high quality tutorials, then you cannot go wrong with the Webflow University. That is how pretty much everyone starts, I think, and it will give you a good enough understanding so that you can just jump into Webflow and start making changes to templates. So the way that I'll get started in this is to simply reach out to different businesses in your area and ask them if they need help with their website. Obviously, if you Google them and you don't find a website, or their website is outdated, then that is a prime opportunity. And if you focus on a niche like restaurants, then you can just jump in here. You already have a whole bunch of restaurant templates. I mean, I can see 2 here already. And then all you need to do is just sit down with them, ask them a bit about the kind of brand direction that they want to go, what colors they like, what fonts they like. And then it's just a matter of buying the template, jumping in there, making some changes, and before you know it, you're making income as a Webflow developer. Okay, so the next area worth exploring is workflow automation. Now, this particular area of work is, in my opinion, the definition of helping businesses work smarter, not harder. Because what you're doing here is you're taking a whole bunch of tasks that businesses usually do manually, and you just automate it with one of these no-code automation tools. So I use these tools all the time to automate workflows for my business. It has saved me so much time, and it's actually quite satisfying learning how to set up workflows. And so again, this is just a matter of you going out, researching the different tools that are out there. I think the main ones worth looking into are Zapier and Integromat, but then there are also some niche automation tools like Parabola that does entire database syncs rather than just individual one-off workflows. And again, there's so many free resources out there on YouTube that you can just like look into, so you can kind of explore what you can do with these tools. And as soon as you got the hang of it, you can get in touch with businesses and you can then just help them automate workflows that they're otherwise doing manually. So I think the most effective way to monetize your newly found skills as a workflow automator is to just do one-on-one consulting. I've done that quite a bit in the past. I've also hired Zapier consultants to help me set up workflows as well. And potentially also looking into doing project-based work. So if you do find a business that has a certain workflow that they want you to set up, then you can just do a one-off project fee, which again can be super lucrative, especially when you consider the value that you're actually bringing to the table with the amount of time that you're going to save them. Now, a lot of these platforms are also going to have their own expert program. So for example, you can hire a Zapier expert today. So if you go through the process of learning all of these tools, then they will actually list you on their website, and that can be a really, really great way to attract more clients. Then next up, we have Airtable. Now, Airtable is a database tool that you can use to create a whole bunch of different things. So I've brought up the template gallery page because that is actually where I'd start if you're brand new to the tool. So you'll definitely get an overview of the different use cases as to how different businesses use Airtable. And so if you jump in here, you can have a look at a content calendar template, which I think it's very commonly used. So when you jump in here, you can kind of see how it's all structured. And basically the reason why this is worth looking into is because there are always businesses looking for the latest and greatest CRM tool or social media management tool. And oftentimes what I find is the big limitations that they run into with the out of the box solutions is that they're always just a few little use cases that don't exactly fit their business. But Airtable is something where you start from scratch and you can really customize it to fit whatever it is that you are trying to do. So nowadays people are discovering Airtable, they're hearing how awesome it is, so they are getting started. But again here, they need people to help them get started, and this is where I think another huge opportunity is to get some paid work. So a place where I would start personally if I were looking into setting up databases is to potentially look into businesses who might be looking for custom CRMs. I get a lot of people who make inquiries about custom CRMs, so that is definitely something worth promoting. Then also, some businesses might look for better processes when it comes to building content management systems. And again, you've got a whole bunch of examples and templates that you can use and then modify to fit whatever business you're working with. And so again, no real experience needed. You just need to spend the time researching how the tool works, watch some tutorials, and before you know it, you'll be away laughing. So there are two key resources that I'll check out if you want to explore this further. So the first one is the Automate All the Things YouTube channel, where Aaron basically takes you through the process of using Airtable, setting up workflows. So also if you are setting up workflows, check this channel out as well. And then there's also Gareth Pronibus, who makes a whole bunch of Airtable videos and gives you a rundown of how you can solve certain use cases. And those two channels alone will really help you get the ball rolling. Okay, and now on to number 4, which is paid advertising. Now there is huge demand for paid advertising at all times, but I have found, especially in New Zealand, there's quite the shortage of high quality paid advertisers, meaning that there are some really good opportunities for you to learn the ins and outs of something like Facebook ads or Google ads, and then basically help businesses run their paid ads. So that's actually my background. Before I got into all of the no-code stuff, I actually focused on Facebook ads. And the beautiful thing about Facebook ads is that because you are essentially responsible for generating a return on their ad spend, it's actually not that difficult to charge quite a decent amount because they will always know what the return is that you can generate for them with the work that you do. So the way that I learned how to do Facebook ads was I just went and watched a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, but I also took some Udemy classes. So one class that I recommend checking out is this Google Ads training course, because it basically teaches you absolutely everything that you need to know about setting up Google Ads and managing them for your clients. If you found a client who needs help with their Google Ads, you could basically just watch this series and build your client's campaign as you're watching it, and you'll deliver a real phenomenal result for them. Now, depending on the types of clients that you find, you can probably charge them a monthly retainer and a setup fee. When I got started, I would just charge a one-off fee of a few grand, and then I'd charge a monthly fee to basically manage their ad account. And over time that grew up to about $3,500 a month per client to basically manage their ads account. So this again is definitely something that will allow you to make quite a decent amount of money if you find the right types of clients. So the best way to find paid advertising clients is to actually just get in touch with them. So when I got started with Facebook ads, I would actually just email businesses, and yeah, you'll oftentimes get a lot of no's, but honestly, if you get in touch with 10 clients and one of them says yes, then honestly, it will be definitely worth your time. The way that I actually found some of my biggest clients was actually by going to networking events. So if you can go to networking events and basically connect with people, then that is definitely something that I'd look into as well. And then last but not least, we have copywriting. Now, copywriting is one that I wanted to include just because there is always such high demand for it on the Unicorn Factory. So this is something that you can do either part-time, but you can definitely build a career out of it because there's so many different ways that you can do copywriting for businesses. Some of the most obvious ones and probably the easiest ones to get started with is actual blog writing. Oftentimes, this is the type of stuff that businesses just don't want to hire in-house for. So if you can help someone write a blog post for a few $100s, then that is just a really great way to get your start as a copywriter. But then there are also more specialist copywriting areas, for example, writing website copy or writing ad copy. Those are areas that I oftentimes find are not as explored as the standard blog writing. So this is definitely something that you should look into. I personally haven't done a lot of it, but I have hired people to help me with it. So what I'd recommend doing is, again, just looking up what kind of resources are available online that will help you become a better copywriter. And again, before you know it, you'll be out there, you'll be helping local businesses, and you'll be able to make a little bit of extra money besides your full-time job, or if this is what you want, start a career as a copywriter. And those are the top 5 areas that I would consider looking into if you want to break into the tech world and you don't come from a coding background. All of these skills are relatively easy to learn. When it comes to finding clients, I feel like the best place to get started is actually just going with cold outreach, building a name for yourself, and then over time work will find you. But it is definitely something that you can do on the side, something you can potentially build a full-time career into. So definitely, if you have been thinking about it, then maybe next year is the year where you can make this happen. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking around for the entire video, and I'll see you back here for the next one.